Exactly. Hello, everybody, and welcome to After Discussing a Murderer, episode 38. Welcome to the live, guys. Just so happy to see so many people in live. I'll try to check over and comment over there where I can tag you. I can't tag you from the StreamYard, so I will try to get over there. Gosh darn it, he's such a rookie. He's got his YouTube open and his StreamYard open. I mean, come on, what's going on? What's going on, Jack? I need some help, obviously. I can't get through this alone. Falling
Well,
to
that's
pieces
what
already.
I
38 seconds
always.
in, guys.
Hey, I always have the StreamYard page open along with the YouTube live running, so I can see
Oh no,
the comments.
I just didn't have it muted, you know.
Oh, you're
Rookie
doing an
mistake,
echo.
you
Good for
know.
you.
Rookie
Yeah, yep.
mistake.
Yeah, you got to mute
So,
YouTube.
how are you doing, Jack? How's it going?
I had to pull my head out for a couple of days. I got reached kind of an overload level, so I had to kind of step back just a touch and kind of clear my head, do something different. You know how it is.
You got to do
But
that.
other than that, you know, we can talk about it here in a few minutes. I wasn't in the last podcast. It's a scheduling conflict. It's not that I don't want to be on the panel, but it's a scheduling conflict, and I was going to reply, but again, all I could really think of is the interview that Brendan did with Anjanette Levy that she didn't air. That my mind, I don't know why my mind went there, but it did. Maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about that probably after we get through introducing everybody and greeting
Sure.
everyone. So, but I mean, absolutely that's what we just finished on the episode. So it's just a good point. And I know that if there's one thing that you have a strong part of the case with and that connection, and that's one that you've always been, it makes, okay, I'm going to get into it. It makes so much sense anyway, Jack. Like, if you're gonna do the whole panel, do the whole panel. Don't, and then you can always get this. Anyway, we'll get to it in a second. We'll get
Yep.
to it in a second. Let's talk to and welcome Calf to the show. How you doing, Calf?
Hi, how are you? I'm
I'm
good.
great.
Yeah, I'm all
That's
right.
it's
I'm
good
a
to
bit
see you.
like
Good to hear you.
Jack. I've been off a bit lately. Took a step back for a second, you know.
That must
Life.
be like Mercury rising or something. Everybody's taking a step back, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Well,
good to be back.
it's good to have you here. And
Thank
Kelly,
you.
welcome. Good to have you here.
Good morning, everyone. Panel, everyone in chat. I agree. I'm with everyone else. Took a step back. You know, life is happening for all of us, and it's good to take a breather and kind of shake it all off, refocus. And I think it's you step back in when you know it's time. And I guess with the downtime at the moment, while we're still waiting for Judge Ange to make a ruling, it's I think it's kind of across the board at the moment where everyone's feeling is you can see in terms of, you know, we've got people that will always come out to support, but it's not that hope is faded at all. It's just that everyone's kind of a little bit flat, and it's understandable. So that's where I'm at.
Well, that's where I'm at too, right there with you guys. Everybody else, you got to take a break. And as you said, Kelly, I really would resonate with that point is that if there was any time, it's right now because it's not much really movement on this case. And there's just so much anticipation and anxiety and everything wrapped up into this, let's say ruling. I don't know if that's the right word. Ruling that Judge Ange Sukowatsi. Does anyone know how to pronounce it correctly? I don't know. Anyway, when does anybody have any idea? I thought it was gonna be like a month ago. Anybody else have any estimate on maybe next year or before Christmas or what? What do you think? After summer? What are we looking at here? Honestly,
I really figured sometime in June or July, but it's just a guess.
right? Do you
I
guys want to
honestly
guess?
thought it was going to be between 3 to 4 months, and I think we're almost there now. So I'm a little bit off the ball. if I was going to say if she was going to do it in a strategic, kind of vicious kind of manner, could she drop it in summer when this new convicting drops at the same time? Kind of have it align up, so when people are being exposed to, and I'm doing in quotation marks out here, the other side, she's putting forth her opinion from the other side as well. Again, I don't think there is a connection there. I just think that it would be cheeky of her to, have that aligned at the same time. But at this stage, I really don't know when she's going to do it. Sometimes they say no news is good news, but in the same perspective, if she is going to deny it, I have a sneaky suspicious that she will outline the fact that what's taken her so long is the fact that she went through all the exhibits and she went through it thoroughly enough that when she comes to her conclusion, if it is a denial, that she is going to justify it, probably more exaggerated or more in detail than is even required, just to make sure that the burden doesn't come heavy on her when it hits the courts of appeal. That's just my opinion.
I agree with the part about it being in the summertime, but not for the same reason. Maybe it's for both, but just less people are paying attention. People are busy during the summer. They're on vacation. They're not watching the regular stuff they do. Summer is just kind of kids are off school, so they're doing stuff outside. They got sports and barbecues and parties, and you know what I mean. So I feel like that kind of fits right into that. So maybe it will be a summertime filing. That would kind of feel right. Calf, any idea? No idea?
No idea. I just keep trying to guess and I think I've got this feeling like, oh, next week or whatever, and then that week comes and then that week goes.
Yeah, I stopped guessing.
Yeah, basically.
In fact, even me guessing summer is really inappropriate. We just don't know. Could be fall, but like it won't be another year, right?
No,
Right.
I don't think so. Yeah. There's a lot of people in the chat that are sort of suggesting that she's waiting for convicting to drop. So, I don't know.
Could it be the other way around, perhaps? Maybe convicting is waiting for Ange to drop.
Well, that would be some
that
kind
would
of
be
standoff, wouldn't it? No, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first. What is this, Looney Tunes? Don't answer that.
I think convicting's getting Candace Owens, time to do the narration, because that's got to be added, obviously. So, speaking of convicting, I guess everybody knows now that Foul Play did a series of interviews with convicting, right? You knew that, right, Jeff?
I did not.
No, I did not either. Where have I been? Fill us in, Jack. Fill us in.
Yeah. Well, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, we announced it during the live. Understanding, we didn't make a big deal out of it. We didn't post anything specifically. We just talked about it in voice. And but yeah, we were approached in September of 2020 and asked if we would be willing to participate in talking about the case. So, knowing, I knew that Brenda Schuler was a strong guilter. I didn't really know about Sean. He wasn't directly involved anyway. He probably was indirectly involved, I'm sure. But, I knew Brendan. I've talked to Brenda before. I mean, we go way back to Reddit early days. I knew she was a very tenacious guilter. Not really too nasty. We both got pretty mad at each other before, but it was a over case shit. So it wasn't really personal, and we didn't really make it personal. I wasn't trying to wish ill on her family, and the same for her. She didn't do anything like that. But these points of contention, can raise the temperature. So anyway, as a group, we discussed it at length, and we felt like it was better to speak than to not. Because we don't know who else. I mean, well, we know that Linda got interviewed, but other than that, we don't really know, or we didn't really know anything at the time There's obviously been trailers that have come out since. We know that, Super Pickle's been interviewed. She's a strong guilter. She's a mod on Making a Murder Reddit sub. She's also a mod, or she was a mod in the SEG group. I don't know if she's still a mod there or not, but she's a really pretty nasty. Yeah, she was at one time. Guilter. She's really stopped posting under her Super Pickle name a few years ago, but she's still around. And I'm sure they interviewed others as well, but we felt like that it was better to get our truth. Have no idea how much they'll air. I don't know. They may not air any of it. There was no compensation
So who
asked for or
spoke?
from.
You and Dr. Silkman and
We all did. All did. That was as a group. That were part of the group at the time. All
interesting.
staff and mod were invited to participate. So
Wow.
me, Dr. Soapman, Zoe. Gosh, I can't remember who all was there. Now several people that are here now weren't part of the the group then. So we had to sign NDAs. Can't really discuss really what was said, nothing like that. But it's about the case. All I can really tell you. I mean, let me just put it this way: the discussions we had were about the 85 case. We didn't really we really weren't allowed to. We were supposed to get into the Hallbach case, but they ended the interviews. We weren't allowed to talk about that.
Oh, wild.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
So, I mean, that tells you a lot. I'm sorry I mean, I haven't heard anything, but that does say something. It signals to me.
Well, of course. I mean,
They don't
we
want
spent a
your
lot of
opinion on that, right?
no. We spent many hours discussing the 85 case and Andrew Colburn. I can't say that much. Can't say the contents of that, but subject matter don't matter. But in as much as the 85 case is really at the heart of everything. We weren't allowed to discuss the the lawsuit or get into the Halbach case, which is really where we wanted to talk about. Of course, there's so much then that we didn't know that we really found out in the last year and a half. That is really interesting. Anyway, we'll see. We might not be in it at all. They may cut every bit of us out. I don't know. Go ahead, Cal.
I was just going to say, Jack, exactly that. It's great that you had an opportunity to have the side speak on behalf of this case, and even though it was basically a more into the 1985, it's still a voice that gets heard. Doesn't mean that they do a lot, like someone like me who's done reality TV. They collect a lot, because when they go into edit mode, they then decide what pathway they want to use and what narrative they want to use. They were exploring things in my life that they never ended up using, but they were exploring it at the time. The only thing is, and just like in terms of editing, it is that scary moment when you work so hard, because we are a voice, a community that, are for Stephen, but one simple edit can make us as a community look foolish as well.
Well,
so there's that risk factor as well.
Here's the thing. We knew it was a risk, and we all agreed we would record every session, every minute, and we did. And they're well aware of that. We have it all recorded, all of it. So if they try some shit, it's gonna backfire. I can tell you that. We have it all, because they even asked us for some specific recordings that they wanted a different view of. So they know we got it.
Well, I'm definitely. Again, I was never opposed to not watching it. I'm one of the very few that's openly said that I've always looked forward to it. Actually, I'm not scared of my truth. I'm confident in the boys' innocence. So regardless what they say, I'm not worried in that perspective. I see there's a lot of pushback. There's boycotting. No one watch it. But I believe in balance, and whether people believe that it's going to be bullshit, whether it's going to be laughable, it is still something that I'm interested in. And there's only one reason why I'm actually interested in Cam. And that is because, like you said a particular name, and that's Brenda. Brenda has a connection with you know, um, such law enforcement and records and stuff. And I'm more open to watching it to see whether she was able to obtain documents that have never been seen before, maybe documents or something on that manner that hasn't been released to other people, but she might have got her hands on it. And the
See,
reason why they're not
that's me.
sending it out, yes, for example, that exactly. And the reason why they're not sending it out and they're trying to buy time to not release it is because they want it to be aired for the first time to be seen with them versus the truthers get to it and produce it and air it out there before they could make it in part of their narrative. So that's purely the only reason why I'm interested in it. I want to see if there's things in it we haven't seen.
I'm suspicious there are. I'm suspicious there are photos that they have that we've requested many times and have been denied. I'm also suspicious that there are potential recordings that we have requested and have been denied. I'm still into. It's not really an argument, but I'm just still waiting on recordings when Avery was in jail. If you go back and look at our record, you can look at anyone that's requested the phone calls, and there are very few in February 2007. I think there's 2 in March. And I know for a fact that Avery made calls during trial because they're played during MAM that we don't have. Because I was told by Uyghur, you've got everything there is. And I knew that wasn't true. And I called him out on it, and he just ignored me. So I re-requested it from Sheriff Bowe. He looked into it. He writes back after, I'm still waiting. I sent this request off in March. He writes back and says, well, I can play them, but I'm having a real problem recording them. What? It's the same fucking system that you used to, pardon my French, that you used on all the other calls. Why are these different? He was at the same courthouse. It would be Evercom. What's the problem? I still don't have it, and I still don't have an answer. Anyway, there may not be that many calls, but it's shit like that. And you could be exactly right. They could have stuff that they don't want us to have. There's another recording of Brendan that's never been heard. I've been trying for, let's see, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've been trying for over 9 months to get a recording of Brendan that's never been heard before. I still don't have it. They denied. They told me that the crime. They said it had to be converted after all these years. I cannot believe that Now Ryder and Drizzen do not have a copy of this tape, and it hasn't already been converted before. I can't believe that because it's been around since 2006. So anyway, I was told, well, the crime lab's not doing conversions right now. This was back months ago. I still don't have it. Trying a different route this time, but still don't have it. So you could be correct, and I'm really, really suspicious we're going to see photographic evidence that we have requested many times and has been denied. And if that happens, it's going to be a problem. There's going to be a lawyer involved. I can tell you that right now. There will be a lawyer involved. That's a promise. Already made my decision. Throwing down the glove, throwing down the gauntlet.
Fascinating things always here to talk about on Discussing a Murder Live. I mean, gosh darn, I don't want to swear, but gosh darn, that's interesting. Well,
I thought you knew,
I
Jeff.
have to watch all this stuff.
I apologize, Jeff. I thought you knew that we had participated. We did 4 separate.
You may have even told me, man. You may have told me.
I don't know. I don't think I did. We did.
I think it was going to be before that I even really talked to you that much. I think that the timeline would have been. What year was that you would have sat down with them? 3 years ago?
It was the fall of 2020, October, late September and October, and early November. We did 4 separate interviews, and they were long. Yep, they were long. We were there one day for.
And they made you sign an NDA, so you can't even tell us what they asked you.
No. We had signed NDAs. There is no money. We didn't ask for anything. They didn't offer anything. We didn't do it for that. We don't owe royalties or anything like that. We weren't interested in anything like that. We wanted our truth out. Versus knowing, again, I don't hate Brenda at all. She's a person that she's righteous in her belief. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't. And, people say, well, you can't really like her. She's a guilter. I may not like what she believes. I may not
Right.
understand how she can come to a conclusion, but she's just a person, just like the rest of us. And
You have to separate that, right?
you
Right,
have to
right.
separate it. If you
Yeah.
don't, you're just going to walk around mad. And I refuse to do that anymore. Not doing it.
These are wise
So
words, folks. These are wise words to be
I've been
heard.
in
In
it.
my
I've been in it too long, Jeff. Because if I stayed mad from back in the day, I'd been gone long ago. I've been burned out and probably in the crazy farm. I had to drop. I had to drop that emotion and separate the two and realize, people. Even in our own community, I don't agree with everybody. Everybody doesn't agree with me, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to get mad at you, and you shouldn't get mad at me if we disagree. Just okay, well, that's what you believe, cool, and move on to the
if
next
I
thing.
aired every time that I disagreed with someone, I wouldn't be able to get through my day.
Right. We
You know what I mean?
we just
Well, I
accept
would do that
each other.
differently. I would.
We
What are
just
you gonna do? Pick everyone all day? You just can't. You just can't.
you can't do it.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, to wrap up, we did 4 separate interviews. They were extremely long. Hopefully there'll be some parts of it that get in there that are really key for the 85 case, and they are. They're really important. But we'll see. Hopefully, maybe we'll get sent an advanced copy. Not gonna happen.
Well, what are they gonna do? Give you? Well, they could give you. They could. I mean, you should email them. Hey, you gonna let us access behind your paywall so we can watch the darn thing? They should give it to you, even if they say don't air it. You should. Come on now, folks. Let's be real. Let's be pros.
If they did that, I'd definitely stream it on a Discord. Absolutely. Of course I would.
Well, what's right is right. That's what I always say, and that sounds about right to me. You put something into the film. Hours and hours, you said, right? Hours and hours, he said, folks.
Oh yeah, there was
I think I'm
one
leaning
day.
a little hard on this one, but I'm leaning to say they should give you access to it because you contributed. So
I think we were there one day for 7 hours. I think that's right. There were problems. There was technical issues. There was just all kinds of crap that went on. But we stuck. I think maybe one had to drop out because of time difference or maybe an appointment. I don't remember. It's 3 years ago. I don't recall. But they were long. They were interesting conversations. Things got heated at times. It seemed like if they play it as is, a pretty real and frank discussion with guilters and the guilter viewpoint, or even maybe I'll change that. I guess a little bit of a law enforcement viewpoint, but it's really more of a guilter viewpoint. So anyway, I'll blather on enough about that. Hopefully they will air at least some pieces of what we wanted to get in, and go from there.
well, that's definitely interesting. Thanks for sharing, Jack. I appreciate that. I think everybody does. Everybody likes to be let in on a little bit of information, and maybe you did tell me. It's not that you were holding it from me. It's just it didn't come up. Any questions, you guys, from the chat? Looks like we got a lively chat tonight. I see Bethany and Shandy and Anthony and Travis, TJ.
Yeah, so I've been reading it. They're really good. Address some of them, Jeff.
Absolutely. If you see one that you want to,
yeah, hang on a sec. There was one. I was just reading.
While she finds that, I will say that I do want to talk about the en banc and that whole process, and in my thoughts. And I even have Anjanette Levy's interview with Brendan. Now, I don't want to upset anyone. I know this is really upsetting to CAF and to other people out there as a trigger. I don't want to do that. If you don't want to hear it, then I'll drop it. And I'm okay.
Oh, no, that's fine. You can go ahead, Jack. But I can't really just give any input without getting emotional.
Teary-eyed. I understand. I do. I get it.
I can listen and everything, but I reckon that's just one of the most tragic injustices ever.
Absolutely.
I just can't. It's just crazy.
Absolutely. Even understanding, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean anything ill towards Brennan at all, but he was a teenager in that house, and I'll bet you he looked at porn, maybe not the death porn, but definitely look up girls. He's a young 15, 16-year-old kid. Of course he's going to look if he can. Of course he
Mhm.
is. Come on. We're not dumb.
Yeah.
It's teenage. That's teenage stuff. When mom or dad, whatever, an authority's not around to stop you, of course they did. But with that said, Brennan is just a child. He's got a childlike mind. You could tell in the things he said and how he said them. And they screwed that kid multiple different times in multiple different ways. There's just no way around it. Anyway, this whole thing with the en banc. Did you find the thing that you were going to read, Kath?
No, it was basically just, like with the, if Andy or Kratz or whatever are going to get compensated in some way. Quite a few people have sort of touched on that.
If Andy Colburn and Ken Kratz would get
And
paid
then also
from camp.
Yeah, and then where are they? They're moving pretty quick today.
I can answer both those questions, at least from the
Will
Colburn
Andy
standpoint.
sue if Cam make him look bad? That's a good one. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's really witty, because wouldn't that be fair unfair then? If he's in this documentary and they edited him unfairly, it would only be logical for Colburn to sue them too, right? Or was it really about that? It's a really good question.
We've got Colburn's contract, unless something got omitted, which I don't think it did, and I didn't see anything in there about any compensation. It was about telling his story, because remember, from the Colburn v. Netflix lawsuit, Colburn signed an exclusivity agreement with Convicting of Murder. Remember that? And who got him to sign that? Brenda Schuler. And then along comes on his horse was Michael Griesbach. Yeah, you should sign that, and you really shouldn't be talking to these other reporters to get your story out. Well, they just fucking censored that guy. They motherfucked him. Pardon again, that makes me mad too. And I don't really like Colburn. I don't hate the guy, but they just screwed him. He could have easily said, "Look, I will be glad to be in the documentary and tell my side, but you can't shut me up. I need to be able to go out and tell my story my way around whoever wants to interview me." And they didn't want him to do it, and he agreed. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll do it. I'll just do it your way." And they clammed him up now for how many years? They started shooting this damn thing in 2018. Maybe even late 2017, but definitely by 2018 they were into it. So here we are 5 years later, and the guy still hasn't really got to say his piece openly. So who did that help? Did it help Andy? The hell, no, it didn't. It didn't help him at all. It hurt him. So anyway, wanted to say that part. I get a little excited about it because it really irritates me that, because now, and I don't want this to be taken again the wrong way. People can believe whatever they want, but Brenda getting involved in the case, early on the way she did, and then that moved forward to her helping on. I don't know. I don't remember. I really don't recall how she got involved in helping Griesbach do his research, but she did, and then she got in with Ken Kratz and helping. I mean, as I understand it, the book was done, and when she got involved, and she tried to get him to make some corrections, and he refused to do so. I can see that he's pretty arrogant. And then from that, of course, moving forward, this whole idea about convicting came up. She got brought in as a researcher for the documentary, and then that turned into an executive producer role, and I guess then an executive producer. So she's going to make money off of it. You can't tell me that doesn't alter how you approach truth or guilt. It does. It has to. So it's a little bothersome in that capacity, because her role is now expanded to something completely different than, I always felt like I was an advocate. I was a silent advocate for years until license plate Jamie taught me to come in on Mammothon, I wouldn't even thought about coming on and doing some audio. Are you crazy? I just want to research the case. I just want to do my part in helping to get documents, whatever the case may be. I wasn't interested in getting on live chat and talking to people. But as time has went on, that's my thinking has changed because there's so much that has been put forward that's not really correct, or it's been altered a little bit from what we actually know documentation wise. So again, going back to this aspect of what happened to Andy and why, and it being tied to convicting is it's really questionable. It really is. Of course, the lawsuit failed. I mean, it failed and failed spectacularly after what the Netflix investigators found out and these other things. It just, you know, this attorney-client privilege getting broken back from the very beginning. Really? How much that's going to make it into the documentary? Because that's real truth, and it really hurt Andy. It really hurt it destroyed his case. Anybody that doesn't understand that, what happened last early summer into the summer and early fall, if people don't understand what happened, that getting revealed destroyed his case. Though they're not following along, because that killed his case. That's probably the key reason that Griesbach walked away in July of 2022. It just killed his case. Sorry, I rambled on. I'll try to mute.
No, I was just giving you the pause. They got to give you that. It's a big thing that you just said. Got to let it resonate a little bit, right? I'm not afraid of a little dead air. But we did want to talk more about the en banc. Or did you?
Yeah, no. We do. I do. I got off kilter there. Let me refocus my brain. Again, I've said it many times on here, and I've said it on open mic, and reading with the coup and all that. This whole process of the Seventh Circuit appeal, and I haven't really looked at what they do in other circuits. I imagine it's no different. But this whole thing of filing an appeal, they choose right at the outset. There's going to be a 3-panel judge. They're going to hear what you got to say, and they're going to make a decision. Right, whatever the case may be, they're going to choose for one side, the state, or the defendant. And in this, they chose for the defendant. And then the state says, oh, wait, we get another shot. That's not the only thing. Why not? How can it be any other way? It's like I think Big Jeff called it in the last podcast discussing a murder that it was like a trap door, or maybe Dog did. I can't remember. It's like a trap door. Aha! We've got another shot. How's that? How can that be? Because let's just be honest here. This could have went the other way for the state, and Brendan's now right on Drizzt and say, wait, we've got another shot. We want an en banc, and they could have said, no, you can't have it. There cannot be a second step here. There can't. I'm sorry. I don't care which way it falls. If it fails for the defendant, you got to choose a different path. If it fails for the state, you got to choose a different path. Retry him or let him go. I just do not agree with what they did. I think it's wrong on every level. You trust your 3-panel judge, or you do away with it, period. But I know they won't do it because it would kill the court. It would kill it. All of them.
Well, what was the number? It was like out of 4,000. I can't remember exactly. I think it was like 4 out of 4,000 cases. They did 48 or something like that with the en banc. It was just crazy small amount, and it's like, is that? And then what I hear Schimmel say is, well, we get given judges, and it's kind of like we're not sure who we're gonna get. And I go, that sounds like a lottery to me. Like, doesn't it sound like a lottery? Like,
of course it does.
That's not justice. I'm sorry, that's not justice. A lottery and going, well, you came on Monday and we shook the balls up in the thing, and you got these judges. And you come on Tuesday and you shake the balls up and you get these judges, and you can get 2 different results. Now, Here's the logic. If you always use the full panel, there is not, then it's always the full panel, right? It's always all of
Yeah.
them.
That's right. You either use the 3-panel judge system to handle the number of cases before the court and in your district or that region for the 7th Circuit, or you don't. It's
You
one.
don't.
It can't be both. It can't be both. To me, that's not justice at all. That's, as you said, it's a lottery. And if our justice system is just a lottery, what's the point? Just do away
Yeah,
with
then
it.
we're all in big trouble then, you know?
Well, I mean, just looking at this case, we are. Anyway, my reply to that again is this Anjanette Levy unaired interview, and I'd like to play a little bit of that, but this is your show, Jeff. I would never say, but I
Oh
gotta
no,
listen to it.
we're good to go. We're good to go.
You sure?
People, why don't we ask the people in chat? Hey guys in
There you
chat,
go.
do you want to hear some of this interview with Brendan and Anjanette Levy? And if anyone has any major objections to that, which let us know. Because I think it's interesting. And you know what? Like, Jack, I like that your mind went there, because that's what you told us. You said, no, my mind went there to this interview. And because I know how close you are to this subject matter and how well you know it, like how well you know the details, I think that it's a really good path to follow your instinct and be like, I want to go back to this after going through and listening to this. So I'm more than happy to hear the portion or the whole thing. It's up to you. What do you got? What's
Well, it's a 15-minute call. I don't know that we want to listen to. I mean, I can skip through. It's like I said, it's 15 minutes. I don't think we need to listen to all of it. Just
right.
Just a few minutes here and there. I'll skip through and just hear what she says, and the way that he was approached. And I will tell you this. I'll preface this whole interview is that I know that she tried multiple times to get a hold of Barb to get her permission. So this wasn't a spur of the minute thing. This was a multi attempt to get Brendan to agree to this phone interview. So she got it. Brendan got the number, called it, and to me the questions come off like, or the whole thing comes off as though she's doing this not for the news, but to get something out of Brendan for the cops. That's how it all plays out, and this kind of, in my mind, it's really difficult for me to explain, but this is kind of like. It seemed like how Hamilton and some of the other 7th Circuit judges really kind of viewed it. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if Brendan, to me, almost if Brendan and his lawyers had brought in a video of someone else killing Teresa. It wouldn't have mattered. You're with Avery, and we need Avery locked up, and you're our key to do that. Because they used Brendan as a pawn. They did. Anyway, that's kind of where my mind went, and I can't explain entirely why. Maybe this wrong thinking or just skewed. I don't know. But again, this is entirely up to you. We can place a few minutes of it, because we got other stuff to talk about, look at photos and that kind of thing.
No, absolutely. Let's do that. But first, I think it's important to kind of address en banc. There's just not everybody.
Good.
It knows exactly. So the en banc, and you can correct me, Jack, as I will probably veer off. So you get a 3-panel judge on your appeal, right? So you appeal, you get the 3-panel judge. They make a ruling, right? So they made a ruling, and it ruled to affirm the lower court, Judge Duffin's decision to let Brendan out and to throw out the confession. So the 3-panel judge that's the highest level, but you forget that they have this like trapdoor mechanism almost, that they go, well, yeah, we lost that on the 3-panel judge, but you know what? We can apply for this special, like 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 cases actually do this. And we can ask more judges, not just the 3 that we have selected, but the
The full
bigger
panel.
And I don't think, but it's
The-
not all of the judges, right? It's just
It's all that can attend.
all that
or
can
that's-
attend. Okay.
Yes.
So it's not required that everyone has to be there. And in fact, in Brendan's case, they weren't all there, right? There was 3 missing. Is that right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So instead of 15,
and it
you
was
had 12 or something like that?
and it was an even number to boot. It should
Okay.
always be an odd number. It should always be
right.
an odd.
That's right. It should
Anyway,
be an
go
odd
ahead.
number because then there's no tie, right? Exactly. So
Correct.
that's what the en banc is. It's a French or a Latin term, I can't remember, that just means like when all the big judges get on the one panel, and it's very rarely used, and it demonstrates to me that they really had a horse in this race. In this case, the state did, not just, and they did, of course they did. They didn't want to have to deal with the backlash. They didn't, and yeah, so they tried the last trapdoor kind of maneuver, as I see it. Oh, well, we'll throw it on the en banc. And I think, Jack, you bring up such an amazing point. It's like, and you've heard you say it before, why do they get 2 cracks at it? Why did they get to lose and then go, oh no, we lost. Okay, so we'll do this special thing that rarely happens because, and then miraculously we get another man miracle, right?
What that says to me is we don't trust our judges. The system is broke. That part of the system doesn't work right, so we have to bring in everyone, or everyone that we can get. That's what it tells me. And if that's the case, then you've got a bigger problem than a defendant. Short of talking about, if they had somebody coming out for en banc like a Hitler or some mass murderer, you got a real problem in your court system. If you don't trust your 3-panel judge that made the decision with the evidence that was presented to them. So, yeah, you explained it perfectly.
Then, if anyone, I guess we will move on to this call. And this is, or not a call, it's an interview, right? Or is it a call?
It is a call, and
It is
was
a call interview.
Yes. Anjanette had gotten a number to Brendan for him to call that they would accept the charges. Because remember, he's in jail, so he either has to call collect or he has to put it on a calling card. And he was told that she would accept the charges. So
okay, interesting.
You got it
Okay,
linked?
well, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I just wanted to read this last thing, and that's what Travis said. The other thing that has to happen to get en banc, typically you have to split decision. Interesting.
Now this obviously is going through StreamYard. Hopefully this is going to work like it's supposed to. So
if not, people in chat, let us know right away if you can hear it or if you feel like you can't. As soon as I can hear it, I'll let you know that I can hear it, and then they can let us know if they can hear it.
Okay. All right. Again, I'll play a little bit, get it started, and I'm gonna skip through, and we can pause anytime you guys want.
Absolutely.
So here we go. All right, here we go.
I'm not hearing anything, Jack.
You can't hear it?
No, I couldn't hear the recording at all. I could only hear me in the background, actually.
Okay. I'm going to try one more thing. If it doesn't work, let me close this out. And
yeah.
You guys talk a minute, and I'll try one more thing. If it doesn't work, then we'll move on.
Yeah, we'll set it up some other time where we can come back to it.
This other way may work.
Okay.
Okay, let me share this window. I try it directly from Google Drive.
All right, Google Drive, give it to us. Yeah, you know, unless anybody had anything in the chat, any questions, it'd be a good time. You know, otherwise it's crazy. It's crazy that, like I said, you can on Monday you can get one panel, and on Tuesday you can get another panel, and you can get a different decision. And that's not what we're going for. We would want to go for consistency, right? We want consistency in the law. I think there's a big importance to that. That, you know, and in fact, I believe it's one of the Article 1. I think is it Article 1 that says equal protection under the law. Travis, you would know which article that is. Clarify for me that we get equal protection under the law, and I think going and getting a panel one day and getting one result, and then going and getting a panel another day and getting another result. I know you're going to say, but Jeff, that's just the way it is. This is not a perfect system. You know, we have to deal with what we got, but you know, that's how I feel. All right, let's give it a whirl.
All right, guys, let me know right away. I'll start it again.
Thank you. 14th Amendment. Thank you.
This is CBS 5. It's Anjanette.
I can hear.
Hello?
Hello, this is a collect call from
Brandon.
an inmate at the Sheboygan County Jail. To accept charges, press 0. To refuse charges, press 1. To prevent calls from this facility, press 6. For a rate quote, press 7. Hello, this is a collect call from
Brandon.
This call is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Evercom.
Oh,
Brandon, are you there?
yeah,
Oh, hi. This is Anjanette. How are you?
good.
Good. Okay, well, I'm going to put you on hold for just a second, okay? I'm going to transfer you into another room. Is that all right?
Okay,
Okay, if we get disconnected, will you call back?
yeah.
Okay, just a moment. Your uncle killed and raped Teresa.
Yeah.
What is your side of that story? What do you have to say about that? You said you want your side of the story told.
Well, my story is I came home from school at 3:45, started walking down the road, and me and Blaine were talking about who would get the phone first to call our friends, you know. And then we went in the house, Blaine, he called his friend first, and while he was talking to his friend, I was playing PlayStation 2, and I waited for a little bit, and then at 5 o'clock or about that, my mom came home and I talked to her, and she said she had to leave to go to the hospital with Scott,
Mhm.
and then after that, I watched TV until about 6 o'clock and got a phone call from Blaine's boss, Mike Cornelli, and told him that Blaine was going trick-or-treating with his friend, and after that I watched TV until 7, and Steven called, and he asked me if I wanted to come over to the bonfire, so I told him I would, and I did, and then he told me that I was gonna help him clean up the yard. So we did, and we picked up fan seat, wood, and some tires for the fire. And we picked that stuff up, and then we brought it to the fire. Then we threw some of it on, and we went into the garage, and there was a puddle on the floor of some reddish black stuff, but I didn't know what it was from. But it was like, I don't know, it was like probably 5 feet by 5 feet puddle or something. And so we cleaned it up with some old rags, and we threw the stuff in the fire after that, and then we sat there watching the fire, and then we threw some of the stuff on, and my mom came home at 9. Then went into the house and called Steven on his cell phone to tell him that I was supposed to be home at 10 o'clock. And I had a sweater on. And so we waited for the fire to go down, and then he told me to go home to get some sleep for school tomorrow, the next day. And after that, I talked to my mom a little bit, then went to bed.
Well,
I mean, that's really. I've never heard Brendan actually, other than in the court, explain. It's really good. That was really powerful, and it sounded so legit to me. It just sounds
Right.
like that's what he did that day.
It
And
was
I really
straightforward.
exactly. And I've heard other people, and I don't want to speak for you. Might have been you, Jack, say that Ann Jeanette was kind of fishing for something juicy, like a journalist would.
Well,
trying to say something.
It gets far worse after this. It gets much worse. I can't prove it, and it may be even wrong for me to suggest it. Maybe this was all her and her colleagues suggesting to all of a sudden call Brendan at this point in time. I'd have to get with Old Dog to get the date. I can't remember the date of this call, but clearly, this was sometime after March 1st, 2nd time frame, but I'm going to guess it was probably more up into May or June, but it could have been after that. I just don't remember what O-Dog told him, but he's got it nailed down a lot closer than I ever did. But it gets much worse. But again, he sounded very straightforward. He wasn't straining or fishing for words. I mean, any more than he ever does. You could clearly tell he's very simplistic in his language and probably his understanding of just how he thinks, So
I just wanted to read a comment that Rumor Has It wrote, and it's absolutely heartbreaking listening to Brendan, but notice how consistent his actual story is when he isn't being pressured by cops. And it's such a spot on point.
It is. And the really important thing is he wouldn't relent to her throughout the rest of this call. And again, listening to the full call, and I'm going to play a little bit of what Anjanette said, and then we can, if you want, we can move on. As I said, again, this is a 15-minute call. We don't listen to all this.
We'll see how far we get.
Okay.
We're a third of the way. We're a third of the way through it already, right? We're
correct.
5 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. Let's play a little bit more.
Yeah, let's do that.
Come on, load. I paused and it didn't want to reload. Come on, Google. Be better than that. All right, I'm going to have to refresh the page. Give me just 1 second. I apologize. I don't know what the hell's going on.
No worries. We're at 5:05 on that dial there. It happens. You got to refresh and, like Subway or whatever. Not affiliated. Not a paid advertisement. I don't know. I think making money on YouTube, all those YouTubers out there, I give them credit. That's really hard work, and but I don't know if I could be that person that can say, okay, and now hold on a second, Jack, we got to sell some Manscapes. I don't know if that's my vibe. One more comment from Rumor Has It. It's easy to tell people what actually happened. The story just flows out of Brendan. Exactly. When the truth is easy. Right? The truth is easy to tell.
Absolutely.
Don't think too hard about that.
All right. I've got it at 5:06. Close enough. So we'll play a little bit more here.
Then she went into the house and called Steven on his cell phone to tell him that I was supposed to be home at 10 o'clock. And I had a sweater on. And so we waited for the fire to go down, and then he told me to go home to get some sleep for school tomorrow, the next day. And after that, I talked to my mom a little bit, then went to bed.
Well, you said you were hanging out in the house with your brothers.
Yeah.
Which ones were those? I know you have 3 brothers.
Well, Blaine was the only one there.
Oh, okay. Oh, because you guys came home from school.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it said in some papers they had in court.
Yeah.
So you said you guys were hanging out in the house watching playing Game Boys and watching TV?
Yeah.
What were you guys watching on TV?
Some music videos.
Oh, okay. Like what station is that?
Channel 333.
Oh, okay. Like, I don't know, VH1 or something?
MTV.
Oh, MTV. Oh, yeah, VH1's probably like for somebody more my age. Probably like a little older music and stuff like that. Okay. Well, and you said you didn't even go over until Stephen called you?
Yeah.
And that was 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Well, where do you think the cops are getting all this stuff about you getting off the bus and getting the mail and stuff?
I don't know.
No?
But I didn't do that because I never get the mail, and how can I ride a bike because I don't got one? Because mine's junk because my gear gauge is
Whoa!
busted.
That's a good one.
And you didn't go over to Stephen's house at all after school?
No.
Well, where do you, when the cops were talking to you, because we haven't seen that videotape, they said that you are the one that said, you know, you saw Teresa's car in the garage and the fire pit going, there was a big fire in there and everything.
Well, the fire was started before I got there.
But when you got home from school, you didn't see the fire?
No.
And you didn't see Teresa's car in the garage?
No.
So how did this all go down that they said you said all this?
Well, they said some stuff and they asked me if it happened or not. But I would say sometimes I would say no, then they would say I was lying or something.
But that one.
Yeah, I'll pause it right there because remember just in that one, I don't remember exactly which section, but they called him a liar. I don't know, what was it, 70 or 80 times? I can't remember what they said in court. Every time they would say something he didn't like, you're lying, Brendan. We know that's not true. We need to hear the truth. We know what happened. So that's the thing. We know what happened. We just need to hear you say it.
Well, anyway, Jack, speak of the O-Dog and he shall appear. O-Dog just commented.
Hey!
Date of this call is May 18th. Keep in mind, Michael Kelly was 5/12, so that's 6 days before this. Thursday, Friday, and Monday, Wednesday interview him 5/13, and on 5/13 and on 5/15 he tells his mom he was partly responsible. So that's the timeline we have there. Oops.
Thank you very much for getting that in there. I knew it was, I knew you would have the clear date. Yep. Absolutely. Legend
That's some power
indeed.
you have. That's some power. You just wow.
I wasn't sure if he was watching or somebody would text him. I didn't. Obviously, I've had technical difficulties here. I haven't had time, but again, she's drilling down on him. Why would the cops
why
say
not?
this?
I'm sorry, hindsight's 20/20, but couldn't this have been played, as a defense exhibit? Look at him standing his ground.
I'm not even sure that they knew that it existed. I really don't know. I'm guessing. I'm only speculating that Night Rider and Risen had these calls or had them at the time. I'm guessing they did, but I honestly don't know. We don't have discovery documents for Brendan. Discovery email. We don't have that. Maybe that's something we should seek.
Another comment, May 18th, he calls Candy, and Candy starts to question his words. She calls him out on the broken bike. Then Ann Jeanette calls his mom, and she asks Brendan if he wants to talk to her, and he said yes. Who told Brendan to call the reporter? That's the question.
Maybe O-Dog can remember it well, but I believe that came from Barb, that the word finally got through from Barb to Brendan.
O-Dog says Barb did.
Yeah. I think that's how that went down. And speaking of Candy, Again, this is my opinion. It has nothing to do with Jeff or Cal or Cap or anyone else. But Candy is largely responsible for Brendan being in prison because of her contact with Tom Fassbender. There's no way around it. Despite
Without that
anything else.
contact, you don't have a venue to go down. We should say, right?
That's right, because she contacted Fassbender about these alleged instant messages, and then that turned around and allowed them to get a warrant and go in and get the Dassey computer. And of course, I'm sure they were also talking about other aspects of the case at that point. So that gave them a venue to go in and get it. Otherwise, they didn't really have, I don't think they had grounds to get that family computer, Dassey's computer. They call it Brendan's computer. Kratz did. We know it was, at least at some point it was in Bobby's room. I suspect it was in the living room. And but it doesn't matter. They got grounds to go in there and get it. It didn't really make a damn where it was at when they found it. It doesn't matter. So then they were able to take that, and that leads into other areas of the case. That original contact, that's what led to it, and her name's in the warrant. So, and there are other calls for those that haven't listened to them that basically Brendan was not really allowed to talk to the girls anymore, Marie or Kayla. They took a lot of words that Brendan or that Kayla said and twisted them into something that was completely wrong. The reason Brendan was upset because the girl broke up with him, said he was too heavy, called him fat. And he really liked that girl. It broke his heart. He's a young teenager. You know how it is. Kid in love. It just consumes young people. And it can really hurt. And it did. He was really tore up about it. So he was crying about it. That got turned into because he was crying because he had something to hide over something that allegedly happened. It's such bullshit, dude. And they did terrible things to that family. They took Regan Fassbender went to Barb and the family and told them that they had tested Brendan, that he was a crack addict, and he was also selling crack.
Oh my God! I'm starting to laugh out loud at that. Crack addict. He's a crack addict. He was a video Game Boy addict. Let's get real.
Why would they lie like that? I mean, you can lie to a defendant during an interrogation, but that's not what this was at all.
I mean, isn't that an issue that
I'm sorry, say that again.
Allowed to lie to a suspect to get them to admit stuff to you? I think that goes down a slippery slope of that's you can't, like a lawyer. Okay, think of it this way. And maybe Travis could correct me, by the way, if a lawyer knowingly lies to a judge, I think that's a big no-no, right? So
gets your ass into big trouble.
Right. So I just don't see how, if we're trying to find the truth, and we shouldn't use deceit as a means to an end. That's my point. And I understand people are going to be like, well, this is how it's done. Again, Jeff, you're not living in the real world here. But that's just my opinion. And I also wanted to say thank you to Travis for correcting, or at least stating that the phone call wouldn't be admissible in court. And that's what Travis said. And so there you go. There's the answer.
Well, that's interesting.
Can you give us a little more detail on that, Travis? If you could, why, or a reasoning behind that, that would be nice. Not to try to put you to work, but
there's probably some regulation or something that it wouldn't be allowed. I'm not really sure.
It's kind of like it's not an official interview. You know what I mean? Maybe that would. He'll tell us. Travis will. Hopefully.
Travis is glad you asked. It's hearsay.
It's hearsay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It wouldn't pass the hearsay exception. Yeah, it makes sense. I get that. Okay, we'll listen to a little bit more if you want and hear what.
I think we might end up just finishing this bugger out, huh? Let's just see what we can get through.
Okay, all right. Let's play a little bit more. If it'll play, son of a bitch, let's go. And it did it again. Every time I pause it, it doesn't want to unpause.
Come on, Google, get with it. It's 2023 already. Like they
All right,
don't do
we're
enough for us. Like they don't do
we're
enough for us, Google. You know.
we're at 7:39. Let me
Yeah, I think you
reload
just
here.
have to refresh.
Wait. Now I'm confused. Now, oh, I'm not confused. I was reading. I thought it said Travis, but I was reading Trevin's comment. I thought he was saying no, not the interview. Okay. So Jack, well, Calf and Cal, you guys. I mean, we've been talking. Jack and I have been going back for a little bit. You guys got anything to say at this point while we're waiting to pull up this recording?
No, yeah, just waiting to listen. Ronika Clack said, "Where can I hear this call for myself?"
I can link it. Well, no, I can't link it.
Thank
I'll
you.
give the link to Jeff. He's and because
I can
I don't
put
have
it
a
in
wrench,
the-
but he can put it in the live chat. I'll
I'll
pass
put
it to
it.
him.
Oh yeah, pass it
Yeah.
to me. I'll do
Yeah,
it
it's
now.
always good to go back and listen for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's listen to a little bit more. I've got it at 7:29. We're just
I'm sorry. I just got to read this comment. Yeah, I'll throw it
Okay.
up. I just got to read this comment of Travis, and it kind of goes to what I was saying about how like you can use deceit tactics from the get-go, right? So he says defendants cannot use their own statements in court, but prosecutors can use your statements of defendants all day long. Like, it doesn't that seem? I
It's
don't
wrong.
know, guys. I don't know. You know, I didn't write the laws. I didn't study as a lawyer. I can't. You know, I'm kind of going out on a limb here to say this, but that doesn't seem right to me.
Look at the scale. The justice is supposed to be blind, so look at the scales that being held up, and the scales should be somewhat just even if it's only slightly skewed toward the defendant as innocent until proven guilty. So that weight should be down on the state side a little bit at least, not the other way around. It can't ever be guilty until proven innocent. He can't. Otherwise, we're done. And that's kind of the way that things seem these days. If the cops call somebody and bring them in for questioning, you must have done something wrong, or you wouldn't be in there, right? Anyway, all right. I'm at 7:29. This will just play a few seconds more, but
Unless there's something that really jumps out at one of us, maybe we'll just try to play it out.
You got it.
All right.
If there is, please stop me.
Absolutely.
But I would say sometimes I would say no, then they would say I was lying or something.
But that one cop, he was up there testifying, he said you provided all the detail.
Not really.
Well, what is that? What do you mean not really?
Well, some of the stuff I gave, but some of the other stuff wasn't true.
Oh, well, what did you give them?
Well, when they asked me what I did all over there, and I told them that I was just over to the bonfire the first interview, and they said that the next day, the time that they arrested me, that they knew all the stuff that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So did they said that you said that Stephen answered the door all sweaty and kind of half naked, and that he took you down the hall and Teresa was, on the bed with shackles and handcuffs. You didn't say that?
No.
Where did they get that you said that?
I don't know.
Do you think if I went to the cops, Brendan, and said, hey, we need to do a story on this, and, why don't you let us watch the tape? We won't put it on TV or anything, but maybe we could just view it. You wouldn't be saying that? You wouldn't be saying you saw Teresa shackled and handcuffed to the bed?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
And you didn't have sex with Teresa? They said that you had sex with her?
No.
And that she was, screaming for help and, saying Brendan, I guess she didn't know your name, but she was saying you can stop this, crying, you can stop this, you can stop this.
Yeah.
And that she was begging you to save her.
Well, Well, I know I never seen her in my life besides that one day when she was on the news, when she was missing. Because my mom called that one day and told me to turn on the news and watch it because she was a little late.
Because she was what?
She was a little late she was coming home from work.
Mm-hmm.
So she told me to turn it on before she got there to see what was on.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you feel like when these cops were talking to you that they were mean to you?
Yell at me sometimes.
They yelled at you? Yelled at you?
Yeah.
Which one of them yelled at you?
I can't remember, but the one who's up north when they interviewed in November,
Mm-hmm.
one of them swore at me.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
don't remember his name?
That
No.
was Storlinsky.
Okay. But the guys
DCL
that interviewed
Storlinsky.
you, when they said that you told them all this stuff,
Yeah.
there's like a tall guy and a short guy,
Yeah.
I think. He's got kind of balding.
Yeah.
Which one of them yelled at you?
Mark, I think.
Mark?
Yeah.
Okay. And the judge, what did you think about all that stuff the judge said? The judge said he thought they, were nice to you and everything.
I don't know, maybe he's lying or something.
The judge?
Yeah.
He said he watched the tape and everything.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Can you stop it there a second, Jack? In my mind, what do you guys think? Because Brendan seems baffled. Like, well, the judge saw what? It almost seems to me like Brendan at this point doesn't even realize that he falsely confessed. Like, he doesn't really get it. Like, he's not really understanding. I don't know. It just seems weird.
I mean, to me, he doesn't understand. He doesn't get it.
Yeah.
He doesn't
That's what I
understand
feel.
how much trouble he's really in. Anything else? Can we continue?
Just for confirmation for the chat as well, they never actually aired this, did they? Like,
No.
this never went. Okay.
Anything else? Can we continue?
Just for confirmation for the chat as well.
Getting the link. Okay, I'm gonna try again here. Hopefully, come on, Google, help us out here. Son of a.
Oh, you're gonna send me the link?
I am.
Okay, cool. Okay, anything out in the chat world? What is out in the chat world?
Okay, I got it. I got it at 11:10. That's about as close as I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I'll try not to stop you.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't take that long. All right, here we go.
He said he saw it, that you willingly said that, you participated. And I'm not trying to pressure you. I'm just asking you because, that's what we do. But he said that you willingly said, I raped Teresa, I slit her throat, that Stephen told you to slit her throat, and but Teresa didn't die yet, and that then Stephen strangled her, and he had blood all over his hands. That's what it says in the criminal complaint.
No.
That's not true?
No. Because I can't look at blood because if I do, I have like a blackout or a faint. I faint.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that I talked to Stephen a while back on the phone?
I don't recall.
He said that he loves you all, his nephews.
Yeah.
I mean, you love Stephen?
Yeah.
Like, he's probably, you guys are probably close.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he would hang out with you guys, like his nephews is what he said. He would hang out with you guys all the time.
Yeah, he would bring me places. Like, he would take me out to eat, and he said that if I would help him with this, he was fixing cars,
Mm-hmm.
He said if I would help him, he would help me find the car.
Well, what all kind of stuff did you do together?
Well, we would go up north riding like jeeps and that around and go fishing and have fires and go swimming.
Did you guys hang out outside, or not outside, but when you come home from school and stuff, did you guys ever hang out?
Not usually, because he works until 5.
But that day he said he left work early.
Yeah,
Because he said, like he told me he was like hanging out at his house all day.
yeah,
You didn't see him when you came home?
no,
And you said you never saw Teresa before?
no.
I was talking to your attorney yesterday, and he just briefly mentioned that there had been some discussions back and forth, and then I guess he told another station that, there's something about you pleading guilty, and maybe testifying, I guess, against Steven. What do you think of that?
Well, when they interviewed, I was a little nervous, and because I'm shy a little bit, and that, and I don't know.
I mean, but do you understand what I'm saying about you pleading guilty?
Yeah.
That they want you to say you did it.
Well, at first I thought that they were like trying to get Steven for something he didn't do again. And after I heard that they had evidence on him, I lost confidence in that.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you think Steven did this?
You have 1 minute left.
Not really.
Brendan, they were saying they have some evidence that corroborates your version of events, that you took part in this with your uncle.
Yeah.
What do you say about that?
I don't know, maybe they're planting it or something.
They're planting evidence against you?
Yeah.
But if I were to watch that tape, Brendan, would I see you saying that you raped Teresa?
I don't recall.
You don't remember saying you raped Teresa?
No.
And that you slit her throat?
No.
And that Steven told you did a good job after you raped her?
No.
Steven never told you did a good job?
No.
So what do you think of all this?
That it's bullcrap.
You never saw Teresa naked on that bed?
No.
Thank you for using Evercom.
Oh.
I mean, I can see you guys in the comments that it is hard to listen to, and she is really asking probing questions. But I think in hindsight, as hard as it is, I'm in a way glad she asked them, because Brendan has an opportunity to refute the police. And had this been put out in the media, would that have changed things if she wouldn't have buried this and said, well, we have Brendan, exclusive interview tonight. He denies it all. But that didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. And that's I guess that's my real problem. It was indicative of really kind of the media in the area. I'm not saying everyone. I'm not saying even her specifically, but by and large, if you take a look at what we do have of the media coverage of the time, I'm talking about in real time, they did their part to help the police, the state. In my opinion, not everyone may agree with that, and I'm okay with that. I think she should have aired it. I did hear an excuse. Oh Lord, it's been years ago now, that the reason they didn't air it is because of Brendan's age, but they already had permission, and they
It's
knew that going in. It is
Yeah.
ridiculous. And so why would Barbara, yeah, I think it was a mistake for Barb to agree to let Brendan be interviewed, but it wasn't with the police. It was a chance for Brendan to be able to tell his side, and get it out through the media, which I think, as bad as it was, I think it was probably, of all bad choices, it was probably one of the least bad. because it allowed him to speak, even though you could tell he had trouble.
Yeah, she's like she's got power in the media. It could have gone so much better for Brendan.
Yeah.
But yeah, she didn't do that.
No. Didn't hear it.
No.
So that's my I guess my underlying gut punch reply back to the en banc and the unfairness of that process. One side loses, they have a potential second chance, and I just don't agree with that at all. So that's the end of my spiel and my reply. Sorry, it's taken us well over an hour or so.
Great. Sometimes it takes that long. You got to dig deep. I think this is just a great venue and podcast to bring up these issues, these deep. We got to dig deep, and this is the place where we do it here at Discussing a Murderer, right?
Absolutely.
So, before we kind of maybe shift gears or talk to the chat, Kel and Kath, do you have anything to add to where we are in that discussion?
Yeah, I'm just I know, like, so with the with Brendan's case, it's gone nowhere now, hasn't it? There's nothing in the future for him that looks good.
Haven't heard a word. Not a word.
Yeah, as far as I know, nothing. Yeah. But then again, we have to acknowledge the fact that lawyers, defense attorneys, post-conviction attorneys aren't making pressers all the time to tell you what they did today on the case, right? So we don't know what is being worked on or what isn't being worked on, and I think that that's important to remember. That just because you don't see anything moving today doesn't mean that there aren't things trying to be developed or being developed in the background. That's I know it's a slow process. The wheels of justice move slowly, as they say.
I mean, I guess
nothing on the horizon, as Travis says.
Yeah, and what about in Stephen's case? If that happened to progress forward in a positive way, miracles do happen. Would that affect Brendan as well?
Potentially, I guess, but they didn't really. They got him on words. That's what. There's no scientific evidence tying him to any of it.
I don't get that. That's the frustrating bit. Like, so many young adults or children falsely confess, and eventually, maybe not all of them, but a lot do get out on false confession, especially when there's no DNA connecting them to the crime. So this is, I can't understand it. My brain won't accept it, basically.
There's no corroboration at all. There's nothing tying him to anything. So it's really frustrating. You heard Brad Schimmel in the last Discussing a Murder, what he said. You heard the newscaster calling him one of the most dangerous criminals ever. Blah blah blah. I was like, what? Brendan, are you kidding? The guy can't stand the sight of blood. Makes him sick or he faints, whatever.
Yeah, that would have been interesting if they'd maybe put that in play in court, put some blood in front of him and watch him faint.
Yep. It would have been interesting. He probably would have fell out on the floor. Some people can't stand the sight of blood. My oldest is like that. You can't do it. It
Travis
absolutely makes it.
Sorry, Jack.
No, go ahead.
Oh, Travis says he has available a state motion for post-conviction relief, but they said they are waiting. It's interesting. And it will depend.
I was just going to weigh into what this conversation was, and just reading the chat. Travis actually beat me to it. I kind of agree where Travis was going in terms of what we just heard. I'm grateful that this never got released, and I'm grateful it was never used in any kind of motion or whatever, because it does appear that he would be then lying, because we know he made a false confession, and she's referring to, if I heard that tape, is this what I will hear you say? And he's saying, no, not really. But we know he did say that. Now, we all know it's bullshit. But like Travis said, it's because he can't articulate what he
Mhm.
meant when he's
He
trying to
can.
say.
He can.
Exactly. So it is grateful that this never got out, because in, face value, it makes him look like a liar, but it comes down to the fact he didn't even understand what was going on.
Yeah, he can't articulate it. He doesn't have the faculties to do that and defend himself and really explain in the nitty gritty. He just doesn't do it. He's one of those slow kids that, he just doesn't have that tool belt.
I think that was my comment earlier where I was like, she's asking him if I go on this thing, and he doesn't really, because that's what I'm saying. I don't think he really understood what was going on, and he was, and we'll never be able to know. We'll never know because we can't be inside his head, but that's how I feel. But Kel, you bring up the legal end of that, and Travis brings up the legal end of that, and the practical end of that, and that's huge ammo for them to call him a liar. And we can't tiptoe around that. That's just what they would have done.
I'm sure they would have.
Whew, yeah. So Hugh Frazier, nice to see you guys there. Bethany and Mo's call.
And Mo's call came in. Yep. Saw Mo's.
What do you got here, Jack?
This is where we left off the last time.
Oh yeah. Let's check out a few pictures, guys. Picture time.
I will tell you. I'll tell you.
Drink.
Grab the popcorn. Yeah, and the drink. I will tell you guys. Out of this folder, there was 908 photos left. That gives you any idea, because we've been through photos out of this folder for the last 3 lives.
Was it like 3,000 to start with, or something like that?
2,152.
And we're down to 900.
908. That's correct.
So we're not going to finish tonight. That's what you're saying?
No, we're not going to finish. No, not unless I just sit here with my finger on the button. And these were taken. Let's get
this looks like why I left Wisconsin. I'm not to shit on Wisconsin too hard, because
come on, you want to be
snow and this icy cold, and there's no green anywhere. There's no green. Where's the green?
Okay, look at the date, March 1st, 2006. So this is the afternoon after they had Brendan in the box. They immediately got a search warrant and went back immediately. Now, I want you guys to also pay attention to the condition of the trailer, okay? Because it's going to change. Come on, you son of a gun, close. Try this. There we go. All right. Obviously, this is outside the trailer. We'll move forward a little bit. Shows the trailer number, yada, yada, yada. Blurry photo. Okay, we're moving in, we're around 6 o'clock. I'm sure it's, pretty dark still this time of year in this more northern hemisphere. It gets dark pretty early. Still, in early March. This is clearly the pictures are not. They're not in what I would call metadata order. I had nothing to do with it. This is the way they're numbered. And obviously there's been some activity around in the snow. You can see it there.
It's like a whole lot of photos of nothing, really.
Pretty much. But
it's just the photos we do want, they're either blurry or there's not enough of them.
Yeah, or we just don't have them at all.
Yeah.
And you can see here where those that really haven't experienced snow. I know, Cal, you and Calf have, this is a kind of a oddity for you guys, but you can see this is where the wind has blown and created this drift. Jeff knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, all too well.
Anyway, moving
That's
on.
Not even a drift, barely. That's just a little one.
It is just a little one. Absolutely.
Yeah, see, there's a good go back to that picture. That shows how snow drift. Like, notice how near the trailer there's like no snow, and then there's this huge pile here. That's just naturally how it forms from the wind blowing. Down to you people down under who have never seen snow or familiar with.
The wind just blows it, and it just piles up, and you can see the ripple. It's kind of like sand, It's the same.
It is. It would go across the roads like that, and then we'd have to make sure that we'd have to hit them real hard. Hit that drift as hard as you can with the car. Make sure you get through it. So
get through it. That's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna go inside here in a minute. Hey, they strung up some tape now.
Hey, it's
Crime,
it's a crime scene.
crime scene. That's right.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, his porch is nicer than mine. It's bigger, so
And
not
we're
for
back
long.
inside now. You can see
Here
how
we
neat
go.
things are relatively neat, kind of straightforward.
A fire
We're going to the
extinguisher right there. That's interesting.
yep. We're fixing to go into the bedroom.
Okay.
Ceiling, everything looks kind of normal. There's the bed. They've taken the little
Slippers.
record cabinet. The little
Oh,
record
yeah.
cabinet's obviously gone. We got
Yeah.
the dresser and the little desk there. Pictures of the paneling, the walls. Remember that TV now. Keep that in mind.
All right.
And actually the rest of the room as well. That was the gun
I
rack.
mean,
Guns are
didn't they
gone.
take that whole wall though? Eventually, for
You'll see.
trial.
You'll
Oh, yeah,
see.
here we go.
And of course we have a pile of clothes piled up on the bed. Of course, all the the duty magazines are gone because I took that with the record cabinet, I guess. Seized all that stuff. Can't have that.
Figures, right?
Yeah,
Figures. You took
that's
all the
right.
good stuff.
That's right. Damn it. And we have a little night dresser there. Looks like a bunch of files in it.
Yep. A lighter and a key or something.
Yep.
And here's the mattress that supposedly this horrendous crime took place. But
Yep.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. Why did they take the mattress in the end, or did they just go,
They
well,
did.
obviously there's no blood
They
on
took it. They took
Oh,
it.
they took it.
They
Yeah,
didn't
still
test
no
it.
DNA anyway.
No. Well, they didn't test it.
Oh, really?
No. Nope, she
yeah,
didn't
most
test
call
it.
those. They only show close-ups if it's something they want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, not everything's blurry or far away, right?
I mean, let me check the metadata here. I think we're still on March 1st. And we are. This is at 6:44 p.m. Okay, we'll move on. Carpet. Here we are in the laundry area. There's the red paint up here up top. Red paint can. Light fixture for some reason. There's the floor going into the bathroom. Taking photos, I guess, of some of the other bedrooms. He's got junk piled up in. Clearly some ceiling damage there. A leak. More junk piled up. I don't know of anything they took out of these other bedrooms at all. I don't know that, but and it looks like some paint has been spilled on the floor here. Or just can is rusted, I'm sorry. Let's see the bottom of the can there. There's been some water has gotten in there on those cans and they rusted.
Yep.
Living room, computer, at least the monitor, some speakers there, stereo. And it looks like something got spilled on the carpet, probably a drink or something, There's that couch that I think Jody, because a couple of photos of Jody that were taken were on that couch. There's a really bad photo here. Well, what the hell happened? And more of the living room. Actually, quite a few in the living room here. All right, now here we go. We're in hazmat suits back here.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You don't want to leave your DNA.
Just wondering who this is in the hazmat suit.
It's March 1st, so who could it be? Who
It's
could
be
it be?
either a queso cop or a Manitowoc cop. One of the two. As far as I know, they didn't call the crime lab in for this.
Oh, they didn't.
Nope. Refrigerator all nice and cleaned out. Little kitchen area. And as far as I know, this is still I know it is. This is still the evening of March 1st, 2006.
I mean, that was the Herald Times. Just to go back, can you go back a few pictures to see the newspaper on the stand? Now, wouldn't that be something that you'd want to collect because that was the mail that supposedly Brendan brought him? But they didn't collect it because it's not actually what happened. What's the date on there? Can you see? I guess we could go back and Manitowoc County, October. Wait, go left.
October 30th.
October 30th. Yeah.
There you go. There it is right there.
So that's the last haul of mail he got. I don't see a 31st. You know what I'm saying? That's interesting. Wouldn't it be
Yeah,
the
I don't see it.
31st then, not the 30th one?
Well, if Brendan brought the mail over.
Then it would be the 31st. Well, boom, we just proved you wrong. Although that'll never hold up anywhere.
No.
It does indicate to me that the last mail he got was on the 30th. And isn't there always an idea that, sorry to be so controversial, but in the timeline and the way things shake out, there's some suspicion that maybe that was the day before or the day or 2 days before, and there might not actually be
it can depend on what newspaper you're getting delivered. You can get the Herald Times delivered weekly or just weekend or like a Sunday.
Yeah,
Depends
Saturday,
what your
Saturday.
subscription is.
That's right.
Agreed.
As a kid that had a newspaper route when I was a kid, trust me on that, because Sundays, as a 10-year-old, it almost killed me.
Well,
we used to get the paper delivered on a Sunday. I only just stopped getting the paper delivered on a Sunday a couple of years back.
Don't know why they took this up close photo of this. It's nothing. It's just so funny. There's nothing. It's nothing.
So is this how Jody would have found it when she got released? When did she get released?
No, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
She was released March 6th. We're not quite there yet, but you're fixing to find
I'm
out.
showing that mattress like a whole lot of nothing. That's what I mean about the photos. There's thousands of photos of just nothing.
Nothing.
And then here's where the crime supposedly took place, but you don't do a close-up.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly.
And you see stain right there. Granted, it's probably a water stain, but you don't do a close-up. I mean, you'd be like, oh, what's this? Let's do a close-up. See? What did I just say? Let's do a close-up. And then there was one of something insignificant. A little troll doll, some slippers, right? But the mattress where this crime supposedly took place, they don't go close. Yeah, makes sense to me.
I want you to notice the metadata now. It's March 2nd, 8:54 a.m. You notice that the carpet is gone from this hallway? We're down to the pad.
Interesting.
Not done yet.
But no close-ups. Yeah.
I didn't really want to show that. Pardon me.
Bullets.
I moved on past it. Yep, bullets in this drawer here.
Those are old. Those things probably don't even work. Oh, here we go. Let's take these panels down.
That's
okay, now here, look at, can you go back to that one? Look at there's drops, guys. Look at drops. I see dripping from the, in the back. If that was any relevance, it would have proven there was a crime there. So how are you going to tell me that he cleaned up the wall and cleaned up everything, but then reapplied new drops of random whatever soda or whatever these stains are that are on there? You know what I mean? It's just absolutely ridiculous.
And Uyghur's saying, well, I had 5 days to clean up. Well, clean up what? The trailer is a disaster. It's not clean at all. Oh, but also notice what else they've taken. Light switch covers, plug switch covers. They've been removed.
Huh. Because they're going to take the panel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's why, because they're going to take that panel.
Pretty sure they took the knives as well. So they're looking at the silverware here. There's knives in that drawer. I think there's a picture of the butcher block. There it is, right there. Here's the butcher block.
Oh, and I think in this reel there are the pictures of the knives hanging that's actually used in the opening of Ma'am. I think it's coming up. If I'm correct.
More knives in this drawer. Because remember, allegedly in this confession, Brendan said that they took the knife and put it under the seat of the RAV. And the crime lab had already had the RAV for a week, or almost a week. More knives. They didn't find anything. No DNA, no nothing.
There it is. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's the
knives
picture
hanging
that's
up.
used in the opening of Man. It's just zoomed in. Interesting. Oh, there it is. That's the one.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Moving forward. And
Moving the bed.
yeah. Now, Jody was
Other
released
bed.
March 6th. So approximately 4 days after this. Paint thinner. Wow. Yeah, well, I don't think this is the paint thinner they used in the garage. I don't think it would be back in the house. I think they'd have just left it in the garage to clean the floor. More paint and a bunch of other.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff stacked up in here, And the thing is you don't always want to put that stuff out in the garage because it gets,
It
messed
could
up and
freeze,
spoiled.
especially if it's water based. It could freeze
That's right.
and destroy it. Clearly a junk room. Okay, they went to work in the bathroom here. They're opening the doors and here we go. There's the bedroom now.
Hey, that's how Jody might have found it.
That is exactly how Jody found it.
What's that box on top there on the left? You think we can zoom in on that? Yeah,
over
what
here?
is that? Yeah. I'm just curious. LG something. Oh, phone. It's the box for the phone.
Yeah. So tell me again why Andy and Link put magazines back into an old record cabinet? Really? Is that how they do things? I don't think so.
And look at that TV.
Yeah, just dumped on the floor.
Just throw it on the floor.
Yep.
This is what it looks like when there's no accountability, guys. Did you throw that guy's TV on the floor? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Nope.
Paneling removed, gone. More paneling removed.
That is some pretty thin walls. Look at that. So there's there's just paneling. It's 2x4s and paneling.
Yep. No insulation. None.
No insulation. No rock or sheetrock. Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
That's what those are.
And
see now, look at those bullets. Those are for the muzzle loader. See those balls?
Yeah.
Those are for the muzzle loader, which I believe Steven was actually legally allowed to have.
I think the muzzle loader he was.
As a felon, you're allowed to still use the muzzle loader. So there's that. He's technically not supposed to have a 22. I'm not going to say whether I think he was shooting one or not. I'm assuming he probably was.
Isn't it strange the different casings on here?
Yeah, it's either a different brand or it's a different like some of them are
bullet.
like hollow point, and then some of them are the longs. Like if you back up, he had 22 long. Yeah, see long rifle. Yeah, so there's 22, there's 22 shorts, there's 22 long, there's 22 long rifle. There's like a whole host of different variations, even in that just small little caliber 22. It is one of the most popular rounds ever produced. I mean, people probably use that more than anything. Maybe
I would. Well, I would imagine so, especially
because it's a bullet and you can shoot it, and the price is so low, right? Like for reloading and for buying ammo, 22 is the cheapest.
Especially out in a rural setting, if you're trying to keep varmints off your property, squirrel hunting and that kind of thing, because you can't use anything much bigger than a 22, or you're squirrel hunting, you'll destroy the squirrel.
Ain't that the case?
Yeah. This is supposed to be some kind of stain, but.
What I'm saying is, I don't think you could. I mean, obviously that's not, because if it was, they would have used it.
Absolutely.
Right? It would have sunk his ship, and that's the truth.
That's right.
So put your ruler there, test it, and find out that it's
nothing.
Non-organic matter, right? It's
a
like jelly.
Right? Big nothing burger.
But he cleaned everything, but he missed that stain.
Yeah, right. I don't know what all these. I don't know what all this
I don't
is,
know what
but
they're
it's
looking at
clearly
here.
clearly nothing. But they
Okay.
measured it. They measured it, whatever it was,
Like this old ass stain from a year ago or something.
or
I
maybe
mean, they're
10 years
trying.
ago.
I mean, you can see they are trying to find something, right? They are
Yep.
trying their hardest to. I mean, this is just padding hours now. This is ridiculous.
Hey, that overtime's not going to make itself. Come on.
It's not. It's not.
I mean, this looks to me like something got spilled on that headboard and it's ran down. That's what it looks like to me. Right?
Yeah.
And if they scoured that house, as basically Wiegert implied, they sure did miss a lot. There's just literally cobwebs all over the damn place. Dust, hair.
Yeah, look at the hair, but it's not her hair. But he cleaned it
Nope.
so well.
Yeah.
Remember? Like, you can't have it both ways. If it's dirty, then he didn't clean it, bro.
5 days to clean up.
But it's still dirty.
Yep.
Liars.
They collected it though. They put it there.
For some reason, Jean Couché just popped in my head. Has DNA been planted in cases before? Yes. Is it done in this one? I don't know.
I don't know. I do know that DNA can be, basically fabricated is what he's saying.
That's what he said. Yeah. Was it fabricated in this case? I don't know. Has it been done before? Yeah. Wow. I mean, the statements made by MTSO and associates are like off the charts amazing. Sheriff Peterson saying we would have just killed Stephen Avery. We wanted to get rid of Stephen Avery. Like, whoa, buddy.
Yeah. Yep.
And Jean Couché saying things have been planted before, but I'm not sure if they've been planted in this one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe the DNA when it frees Stephen Avery, but I believe the DNA when it locks him up. That's what I hear from people like Jean Couché.
You guys know
anybody
what
want to
this is,
guess?
right?
Anybody want to guess? Somebody's got to know.
Cat, tell you know what that is?
I kind of gave you a hint earlier.
You did.
About what it is. Yeah,
I
gave
so
a hint.
you know what that is? That I mean, obviously you can put fluid in it, liquid. I mean, yeah.
No, it's not for liquid.
No, not for liquid.
Is it like a calling thing for an animal?
That's pretty close. It could be, but it's not. Powder horn. Travis got it. Oh no, most call got it first. It's where you put the black powder.
Gunpowder horn. Wow.
And then when you add the muzzle loader gun, the old like 1600s one where you had to ram the cotton wad and then the bullet and then the gunpowder. I said the order wrong, but you get the point.
Here I was thinking I could put some wine in that and carry it around my neck.
I think you still could. You cleaned it up.
Liquid.
And a little gunpowder ain't gonna hurt you. So I think
we
could do it for wine.
Cap, we could get you an old goat bladder, something like that.
No,
this thing actually was in some of the earlier photos. Pretty sure that there's a photo of this hanging on that gun rack. Isn't that right?
Yes, I think I saw it there.
Yeah, yep. I'm pretty sure. But way back in the day, I didn't know what it was. But that is right. It is a powder horn. Oh, crap.
Well, like as I said before, I believe, and I'm pretty confident on this, although Stephen, as a previous felon, was not allowed to own a gun, he was allowed to own a muzzleloader and hunt with a muzzleloader for even deer hunting. So I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And that's why it would make sense that he has that around,
I think that is the only exception to the felony rule. I think that's right, or at least it was. Oh, wow. We got a stain.
5 days to clean up, huh?
That's right.
You didn't. So 5 days to clean up, and you don't even wash the that. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
More nothingness. And even point at it. Look at what we got here. It's nothing. There's nothing there, dude. One did it twice.
What does it say? What is it? Electrical outlet cover.
Electrical
Swab.
outlet cover, swab too. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, really, they're not really swabbing much there, are they?
Nope. Swab number 3.
They
And number
really
4.
they really thought they had something here. Either that or they were
They-
ready for their overtime. Hey, there's a stain.
Number-
Let's pretend it's something.
Yep.
All these swabs, so that I've counted up to 5 so far.
Yep.
Eventuated to what?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Oh, overtime.
And
Yeah.
overtime. That's it. And according to Wiegert, these were all meticulously cleaned. He had 5 days to clean up.
This is the light cover switch
Right.
that they took off as well.
Which
Swab
would
number
be
2.
you'd have to touch it, right? You have to put
That's
your
right.
hand there. Yeah.
That's right. The old
I don't care
phone
how
charger.
good you are. You're never going to get every little thing of blood. If there was blood in that phone or on that phone and in the crack, you're never going to be able to take the phone. But you know what I mean? There's just so many, right? Like, what if some blood got in between those little dials right there, in between the buttons? There'd just be no way for him to get it out. They'd find it.
You'd have to throw it in the fire or wherever and destroy it to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Recharger.
The cord for the cordless phone. They
Yep.
swabbed that.
They did. Look at all those swab boxes behind there around this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 right there, just in this photo alone. Here's an old ruler. I guess they're going to swab that too. They did. Swab number 1 of yardstick. So let me guess. Stephen did all this stuff and he was measuring to see how long it was. Okay, that was bad.
I mean, what would be the... And then, oh, look at all that. There's stains on there, but nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, like, in defense of the crime lab folks, they're just told to process the place. They're not being,
Right.
I mean, that's fair. We'll give them the fairness to that. But when there's nothing there, it just becomes ridiculous. Look at his hair.
I think this is all Calumet and or Manitowoc, but I think it's Calumet that's doing this that we're seeing here. I don't think the crime lab is involved in this at all. More hair. Yeah, they really cleaned and scoured that trailer. This thing's a disaster. Looks like some Coke or something got spilled on a table. And that base here was sitting right in it, and it got sugar crap all over it.
He's not the meticulous cleaner as though Wiegert likes to say he is.
No.
Huh?
No. Here's a vent. I'm not sure what the hell's going on here. What's this? Oh, that's something with orange, like a tag or something sticking out from underneath of it. That's weird. I never noticed that before.
Might be that orange like place card that they write the evidence on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is.
Just be that.
Maybe
I mean, to me, this would be a good one because if you get a drop of blood in there, how are you ever going to clean that? You know what I mean?
You'd never see it. You probably never see it.
Yeah.
Heater vent, swab number 1.
Here we go. Look at, there's a little something right there, but it isn't blood. Because if it was blood, it looks like rust. It doesn't
Looks
look
like rust to me.
It looks like starting to corrode.
That's exactly what it looks like.
We swabbed the rust spot, guys.
Ferric oxide, I think it's called. Isn't that right? Ferric oxide. Is that right?
That I'm not sure. Yeah, I did want to give a shout out to Rumor Has It, because Rumor Has It was the one that gave us the suggestion to do the Ma'am Miracles podcast, which we'll be doing on Friday night. Check the live. That is the same time as the premiere tonight. So wherever the premiere started for you tonight, it'll be the same on Friday. And we are going to go through as many Ma'am Miracles as we can. We're going to try to talk about what is a man miracle, what isn't a man miracle. And I think we kind of plan on voting with the panel. The panel will vote to decide if it is a miracle or if it isn't a miracle. And we're going to need a unanimous verdict, I think, to really make sure that it is a man miracle. So we'll have some fun with it for sure. And we hope everybody in the chat gets involved. And it looks like Kel is going to take off. Kel said she's got to go in a little bit. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap up pretty soon, have a little shorter than usual one. We're also going to be back on Friday for another live. So,
Bye,
all right,
Kel.
Bye, Kel. We'll see you on the next time around, and we'll probably just do a few more pictures and wrap it up ourselves. But yeah, I hope everybody comes to the live on Friday. It's a special event. Big Jeff said he would be there. Kel will be there. Jack will be there. I will be there. Calf maybe will be there. It's up in the air. Set that alarm. So I think it's really going to be a jamming good time, as they say. So,
hey Jeff, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and throw my 2 cents in. I think it's gonna run into more than one live for this. I think it's gonna be several to get through them all.
Yeah, that's the thing is that's why I wanted to try to come up with a formula. Can we do we have to first define what a miracle is, and then what's a man miracle, and then does this fit the criteria kind of thing? Because there's so many that every time you turn around you go, well, that is also a huge coincidence, almost to the miracle level, you know.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, because what may be a miracle to me might not really fit the criteria as a miracle for you. So I think there should be at least some. Yeah, I think there should be some at least some criteria that we can all kind of agree on. Yeah, I agree. All right, you tell me where you want me to hold. Looks like we've changed venue here. We're into a different light source. Do you want me to hold it right here?
Yeah, maybe that's a good spot to come back to when we start, and then we'll be all confused when we come back and we won't know what we're looking at.
That works for me. Works for me.
Works for me too. So, yeah. If anybody in the comment have anything to add before we wrap up? I just want to say this has been a lot of fun. I always love to look at a few pictures. I really enjoyed this one. I really, really enjoyed the chat today. People were really keeping it going.
Jamming.
It always makes it more fun. Yeah, they were really jamming. So keep it up, guys.
Yes, it was really good. I couldn't even keep up at one stage. Some really interesting questions, and yeah, it's really good.
I think the call was really interesting. And at least my thought process. I know not everyone agrees. Maybe nobody agrees, but my mind directly went to that with the en banc and how he was treated, and I that connection. Maybe it's subconscious. Maybe it'll come to me later as to why my mind directly went to that, because I really hadn't thought about that call in a while. So anyway, I'm glad we played.
I'm glad we listened to it. I absolutely am glad we listened to it. Well, Travis says a miracle is anything that defies logic to get from point A to point B. If there is no logical link then to get to point B, then it's a miracle. Well, that is one definition, absolutely.
I can't disagree with Travis on that. Not at all.
All right.
We have Pam's miracle all on its own.
I mean, isn't that one of the biggest ones, though? The 20 minutes, she just locates it really quickly.
40 acres of cars. She has her own miracle.
It is a true miracle, and if you're keeping up with reading with the crew and some of the slides that Doc has prepared from the photos we have, it's clear what they did. It's so clear what they did. But we'll get to that. Promise you, and it was a miracle. No, there's no doubt.
Well, full of miracles everywhere we turn these days. I'm going to throw that link in there one more time for you guys. This is the link to the Man Miracles. So you guys can follow. You guys can save that, or you can find it on my page here on YouTube. And with that said, I wanted to say thank you to Kel, and I want to say thank you to Kath, and say thank you to Jack for joining tonight. And unless you guys have anything you want to say before we go.
Oh, thanks
Hey,
for
thanks
having
for-
me. Thanks for
same here.
people coming and chatting as well. You know, you think you know quite a bit about this case, but I still learn new stuff every day, every week. Like even from the chat today, I've learned a few things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
And that's why
it's really good.
the chat is such an important part, and we appreciate you guys coming. And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
rumor has it that you're not going to be there for the Man Miracle live because you have to work and do Friday Fish Fry. So I hope you catch up and give us comments, and then come to the next live and tell us all about it. So
I think they should just move the Friday fish fry to Saturday. That's just my thought, though. I'm kidding.
yeah. Try to see how quick that works in Wisconsin. Try to switch to Friday Fish Fry to Saturday.
Oh,
People are
in
gonna laugh
Wisconsin,
you out of the. You're gonna laugh
never
you right
mind.
back to Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is one of the most endearing parts of Wisconsin local culture, and that is the Friday night fish fry. And you can't deny it. It is a really fantastic tradition and fantastic food as well. So, with that said, I hope everybody's hungry. Thanks everybody again. So for Cal and Kath and Jack, this is Jeff Jones saying this has been Alive After Discussing a Murderer, episode 38. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye bye.